GymCandyPart5Chapter15. We'd just won the title, but in the locker room afterward, there wasn't much hollering and cheering because we were all too dog-tired to scream. I looked around for Drew and I found him by Mr. Stimes. I thought he'd be hurting, but he looked okay. "How are you feeling?" I said. He nodded. "I'm fine. A stinger is all it was. I couldn't feel my arm for a few minutes there, and then the feeling came back." "So you'll be able to play next week?" "I could play right now." He paused. "Mick..." Just then Carlson stood up on a chair and blew his whistle. "Listen up, gentlemen. We've got the back room at Chicago's rented," he shouted. "The Booster Club is paying, so get into your street clothes and get over there before the pizza gets cold. 5-minute walk." Deshaun came up. "You heard the man," he said to Drew. "Let's get a move on." Drew turned to me. "We'll talk later." "Sure," I said, and I moved back to my locker area. Guys dressed quickly and headed for the door in groups of 3 and 4. I stood looking around. Nobody had asked me to join them. McGinley noticed. "Come with us, Mick," he said, and he motioned for me to join up with him and his friends. As I was walking up Mercer Street, I felt a hand squeeze my shoulder. I turned, and there was my dad. "Great game," he said, his smile wide. So Mick has this great game, and it seems like everything is going well. But again, we have this theme of isolation because all the guys are going to get pizza, and they're going in groups of 3 and 4. And Mick doesn't have anyone to walk over there with because he has pushed Drew away. He's pushed Deshaun away. He's pushed all of his friends away to where at a certain point, people start to give up on you. At the pizza place, I sat with McGinley and a couple of other second stringers. They'd hardly played, but they were still flying, talking loud and eating fast. I tried to get caught up in their excitement. Maybe I could have, if it hadn't been for Drew. He was with Deshaun and Middleton and Jones, but he might as well have been by himself. Every time I glanced over, he was looking straight ahead, his face expressionless. A little before midnight, Deshaun banged his knife against his glass. "Let's hear it for our touchdown machine! Let's hear it for Mick!" The guys started hollering. Then Middleton jumped up on a chair. "Let's hear it for our coach!" he screamed, and the hollering went up another notch. After that, a bunch of different guys called out other people's names until finally one of the assistant coaches shouted, "Let's hear it for everybody!" The pizza guys stopped bringing out new pizzas and started cleaning up. "Party's over," Carlson said. I stood up, shook a few people's hands, and then headed back to the school parking lot where I'd left the Jeep. I thought about offering a ride to Drew or McGinley or somebody, but I wanted to be alone. They'd all managed to get there without me. They'd find a way home. 15 minutes later, I pulled into the driveway. The house was dark. I opened the front door and quietly walked upstairs, careful not to wake up my mom or dad. Up in my room, I opened the duffel. I wanted to get the syringe and the XTR back into the safety of my closet. I fumbled around, feeling for the stuff, but I couldn't find it. I flicked the light on and dumped out everything. No vial, no syringe, no needle. That's when my cell phone rang. So Mick is missing the XTR. Remember, he keeps it in his duffel bag, and he put his duffel bag in a locker during the game. So at some point when he was playing, the XTR went missing.